What is going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about exit opportunities for salespeople. Now, this isn't something a lot of people talk about. It's not something I've covered before, maybe very briefly, but the reason I'm doing it is because typically when you enter asset management, for example, you can go into an investing role where you're investing in the financial markets, or you could be a salesperson where you're building client relationships, pitching to clients and all of that. So today we're going to talk about the exit opportunities for these individuals because a lot of you have asked me to do a video on it. The exit opportunities we're going to talk about include moving over to asset management competitors, moving over to boutiques, moving over to private wealth management or private banking, moving over to investing roles, moving over to entrepreneurship, consulting, sales and trading, and private equity. So if that sounds of interest to you, stick around and let's get straight into the video. All right, before we start, let's highlight some of the key skills or roles and responsibilities of a salesperson. When you're in asset management, there's two sides, right? So money comes into the firm, right? And then that money gets invested by the investment professionals. They're the technical people. But the people bringing that money into the firm are the salespeople. The salespeople are responsible for managing client relationships, making sure clients are happy, making sure they are prospecting. So trying to find new clients and bringing new business into the asset management firm. So essentially a salesperson does that, brings in new business, pitches new clients, and makes sure existing business is kept happy, existing relationships, existing clients get everything they need and are offered, the latest offerings that the firm has to provide for its clients. So salespeople, you need to be good at interpersonal skills, communication. You need to be a good public speaker. So when you're going to a meeting, you can confidently talk to the people around the table. You need to be good at networking. You need to be comfortable picking up the phone, talking to people, going to dinners and coffees, etc. with clients, all of that. It sounds scary, it sounds daunting, but the truth is it's all learnable. The more you do it in the industry, the more you get better at it. And also a top tip is the more technical you can be as a salesperson, so the more you know about the investing side, the easier it becomes, because then you've got more bows to your arrow, right? It's not just one bow that is, strong sales skills or interpersonal skills. You've got all of those, plus you've got the technical aspect, plus you've got the markets knowledge, blah, blah, blah. So that's what a salesperson does. So after a few years, you're going to be in sales and then you're going to be like, all right, I'm bored of working at this company. What should I do? So a lot of people leave, let's say you're at sales in a big bulge bracket investment bank in asset management. So some people leave the company and go work for a competitor. And the reason for that, they might prefer a different culture. They might have a better offer because the recruitment consultant that reached out to them on LinkedIn is offering a higher base salary and a pay package, better compensation, better benefits. And so typically when you're at one company for a few years, it's always good to look at what else is out there. Whether it's a competitor. So let's say you're at Goldman Sachs Asset Management, you might move to JP Morgan Asset Management. So that's a competitor in terms of it's another investment bank that does asset management. Or you might move to a pure play asset manager, so not tied to an investment bank. You might move to a BlackRock or a PIMCO, a firm that just does asset management. And the reason for that is, if you're at an investment bank doing asset management, you're just one division of a big firm. Whereas if you go to a BlackRock or a PIMCO, the company, their bread and butter is asset management. So it aligns with what you want to do. They have a bigger focus on asset management and probably more opportunities for your career growth within asset management as an industry than just being part of a small cog or a division in a big investment bank that cares also about investment banking, sales and trading, and all these other things. So you get more attention. So some people might move to competitors or boutiques because of the culture or pay opportunities, but they still enjoy the sales role. They want to stay in the industry. They just want, to experience something different at the same time as something they're used to, if that makes sense. Next, we've got investing roles. Believe it or not, some people move from sales roles into investing roles, so highly technical. And the reason they do that, or the reason it becomes possible to do that, is as a salesperson, throughout your time in sales, it's good to keep abreast of what's going on in the markets. But also, if there's an asset class that you like, whether it's fixed income or equities or whatever it is, try and improve or increase your knowledge in that space. So when you're going for interviews in these roles, you can impress them. And there's always people leaving these seats, and so there's always opportunities. And so if you're a salesperson interested in an investing role, it's all about just getting the technicals right, showing you are serious about being in an investing role by doing, for example, the CFA. Everyone in an investing role is going to have to do the CFA level 1, 2, 3 to get that CFA charter next to their name, because it shows them that they've got, you know, a strong level of understanding of fund management, investing, all of that. And so as a salesperson, if you've got CFA, that helps, and then it becomes easier to transition. Some people just aren't feeling the relationship building, the pitching, all of that, and they just want to go and sit at the desk and do technical work, Excel, PowerPoint, learn the details about portfolios and how to manage risk, how to manage portfolios, all of that. And so that's why they move over. So that's an exit opportunity. Now, if you're interested in going into investing roles, there's different types of asset classes that you can go into. There's fixed income investing, equity investing, multi-asset investing. Now, one asset class that's seen substantial growth in the last few years is the alternative asset class. Alternatives includes things like private equity investing, hedge fund investing, venture capital, art, so on and so forth. Goldman Sachs and BlackRock said in September that the days of Tina, there is no alternative, are over. One alternative in particular that saw amazing numbers in 2022 is fine art. 2022 was the best auction year ever, with the highest total from the big three auction houses nearing almost $18 billion. It's pretty impressive and also interesting to learn, and that's why I'm excited to partner with Masterworks. Masterworks have been written about in the Wall Street Journal, Business Insider, and the Financial Times. They offer paintings from legendary artists like Picasso, Monet, and Banksy, and each offering is qualified by the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and broken into shares. So when Masterworks sells a piece of artwork, you get a slice of the potential profits. Masterworks' last 3 exits have delivered 10, 14, and 35% net returns. In all of their exits to date, Masterworks have delivered positive net returns to their investors. And that's how in 2022, they paid out over $25 million in total to their investors. It's a sleek, easy to use, and very fast growing platform, which I would recommend to anyone interested in accessing contemporary art as an asset class. Paintings have sold out in minutes, and they've got almost 700,000 members on the platform. In order to keep up with demand, they release new offerings on the platform regularly. However, there's a waiting list to get access, but you can skip that waiting list by hitting the link in the video description down below. With that, let's get back to the video. The next exit opportunity is private wealth management or private banking. A lot of people move both ways. So people go from private banking into asset management. Some people go from asset management into private banking. The key difference here is in asset management, you're managing money for large corporations and governments and all of that. Private banking, you're doing the same thing, but your clients are different. You're managing money for rich individuals or family offices, high net worth and ultra high net worth individuals. So if I was a salesperson in asset management, why would I want to go into private wealth management or private banking? Maybe, like, I know I've got the sales skills, but maybe I'm bored of the clients. Like, I'm tired of talking to trustees and, you know, people who are tied to organizations, and I want to deal with individuals. I want my clients, rather than my clients being governments and companies, I want my clients to be high net worth, ultra high net worth individuals, so I can provide them a, you know, bespoke service. I can go to more events. I could do more wining and dining. I could lead a more luxurious and fancy sales relationship management business, as opposed to one that's more tied towards institutions and larger clients. Key difference also to consider is when you're in asset management, the size of the investments are a lot bigger because you're dealing with companies and governments. They have a lot more money to invest. The size of the investments when you're working with private clients, high net worth individuals, is going to be smaller because it's individuals. But, you know, a lot of people are attracted to this type of role because you get, you know, your clients are individuals, wealthy tycoons, celebrities, whatever. So it's more of a personal sales business with more of a personal touch. So if that's something you're interested in, then that's a common route for people to move from sales in asset management to sales in private banking. All right, next exit opportunity for asset management sales individuals, entrepreneurship. So a lot of people develop interpersonal skills, communication skills, the ability to manage lots of different work, tasks, projects, etc. At the same time, the ability to manage relationships, talk to people, present, public speaking, all these things, and they come in handy, and creating, nice looking pitch books on PowerPoint, using Excel, all of that. All these skills come in handy to equip individuals to go and pursue entrepreneurship. So, starting a startup or starting a business, working in a startup, working in a big business, whatever it might be. So a lot of people move from asset management into entrepreneurship. It's one of the, lesser or less common exit opportunities. Most people, because you have to keep in mind to give up a full-time job and do entrepreneurship full-time, very risky. But that's one option that a lot of people do. And it's typically because they've got this burning passion or idea that they want to explore. And so they do asset management, develop their skills, and then go and pursue entrepreneurship. A lot of people move from asset management into consulting. And the reason for that is because in asset management, you are essentially managing relationships. I say this a lot because that's essentially what you're doing, managing relationships. But a lot of people get bored of, managing relationships, and what they want to do instead is advise clients. So in consulting, for example, in management consulting, you're kind of an expert in a given area. Clients come to you and you have to create a solution, a customized solution for that client, and then you present it to them and you advise them, tell them, do this, don't do that, XYZ, right? So it's more of an advisory role. And a lot of people move into consulting from asset management to do that because that's what they're interested in. Another advisory type of role you could do is investment banking. But investment banking, as we all know, is a lot harder to break into compared to consulting or management consulting. I'm not saying it's not hard to break into management consulting. More people move into consulting types of roles from asset management than they do to investment banking. Having said this, investment banking is a common route for asset management people to go into. It happened a lot in my class when I was at Goldman's. A lot of people moved from asset management into investment banking. It meant they had to go and enter at a year below they were, so they can just build that experience, build that knowledge, build that base so they can be good at that role. So yeah, people sometimes get bored of the relationship building side and they want to do more advisory stuff. All right, second to last exit opportunity that we're going to talk about today, sales and trading. Some people move from asset management down or up into the sales and trading floor, so global markets, and they go into sales there because maybe asset management is too slow for them. Asset management focuses on a long-term client relationship, long-term investing, whereas sales and trading, it's a lot more intense, it's a lot more faster paced. The investments are a lot shorter in terms of time horizon compared to asset management. And so some people get bored of, doing sales in asset management where it could seem like a drag, and they want more excitement, they want more pressure, more, just more high intensity. And so they go to the sales and trading floor and they do that, and, they might cover a specific product or specific region, but it's a very common route from asset management to sales and trading. Also, it works the other way. Some people go from sales and trading because they don't like the intensity. They come to asset management, it's a bit more chilled out. You don't need to be in so early before the markets open in asset management. It's a longer time horizon. Whatever, works for you or interests you, you will learn after a few years what your preferences are for a career, which industry, which area you like, and then you just develop your skills and then move accordingly. There's always opportunities, so a lot of people do that. All right, and last but not least, oftentimes people think, all right, to go into private equity, you need to be an investment banker. This isn't true. One thing that a lot of people, especially students and graduates, forget is that all these roles, asset management, sales and trading, private banking, private equity, investment banking, hedge funds, so on and so forth, all these companies, divisions, areas, right? They don't just have one role. Like, they don't just have an investment banker. They don't just have a trader. Each of these have tons of different roles. You could be a marketing professional within private equity. You could be a human resources professional, a salesperson, a client relationship manager, an advisor, a technical individual, whatever. There's so many different roles. And so, yes, if you're in investment banking, you can move into private equity, the investing roles in private equity. But within private equity, there's also different roles that cater to different skills and individuals. For example, if you're in asset management, a lot of people have moved from asset management sales into private equity firms. And what they do at the private equity firm is basically sales like they did in asset management. In private equity, there are investor relations roles. So individuals who are responsible for managing the relationship with investors. So for example, in a private equity firm, there's going to be lots of investors, right? Giving money to that firm for them to invest it into private equity funds. And so as a salesperson or an investor relations professional, I'm responsible for managing those relationships helping them as a salesperson get what they want, make sure they're kept up to date on everything. There's also private equity professionals who are doing the investing. There are individuals who are creating models on companies, identifying opportunities, doing all the technical stuff. That's harder to get into because you haven't got that previous experience as a salesperson. It's easier to get into if you come from IBD because you've got that analysis, modeling expertise already. But if you're a salesperson, you can go into private equity, but it's easier to go into a private equity investor relations role as opposed to a technical role. And that's because that's where your expertise lie based on your previous experience as a salesperson. That was a lot. If you made it to the end of this video, give it a thumbs up and let me know what video you want to see next in the comments down below. And check out Masterworks, first link in the video description, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.